At the prestigious University of Lagos, there was a boy named Daniel. Daniel wasn't just handsome, he was a campus sensation. He was tall, dark, and broad shouldered, with the kind of confidence that made girls go weak in their knees. He was the star player of the school basketball team and was often seen on huge banners during competitions, his jersey clinging perfectly to his athletic frame. Every girl admired him, every girl wanted him. Just walking past him in the hallway felt like a privilege. But all that attention got into Daniel's head. He became full of himself, proud, arrogant. He would body shame girls, talk to them carelessly, and laugh behind their backs. And yet, girls from within and outside the Department of Mass Communication kept throwing themselves at him, hoping they would be the one to change him. He had dated almost all the hottest girls in the department and dumped them all without blinking. There was Tolu, the class socialite who believed she had finally tamed him. He dumped her after 3 weeks, saying she was too clingy. Then Anita, who cried for days when he left her without explanation. He dumped her for Kemi, the reigning beauty queen of the faculty, just because he could. Every time he broke a girl's heart, he seemed to get even more popular. His friends clapped for him. The other boys envied him. And the girls, they still chased him, convinced they would be the one to change him. While Daniel was living as a campus star, there was another student in the same class who lived an entirely different life. Her name was Christabel. Christabel was the complete opposite of Daniel. She was quiet, withdrawn, and always looked unkempt. Her hair was often rough, her clothes were old and mismatched, and she always seemed lost in her own world. People rarely spoke to her. Many even acted like she didn't exist. Some even laughed at her behind her back, calling her the ghost of the department. Only one person ever treated her kindly. His name is Caleb. Caleb was a calm, thoughtful guy. He wasn't popular or loud, but he was genuinely kind. He was the only one who sat with Christabel during lectures, the only one who noticed when she didn't come to class. What no one knew, except Caleb, was that Christabel was actually the smartest student in the entire department. Since their first year, she had quietly been topping every exam and test. But because results were always released using only matric numbers, no one knew it was her. Christabel never talked about her achievements. She just stayed invincible. Then, in their final year, the department decided to release the class ranking with names attached. And everyone was shocked to discover that the weird forgotten girl named Christabel was the best student in the class. The revelation stunned everyone. Slowly, people began treating her with a bit more respect. And that was when Daniel noticed her for the first time. One afternoon after class, Daniel walked up to her and smiled. You know, you are not as weird as they say, he said casually. Those words lit up Christabel's world. No one ever said something kind to her like that, especially not someone like Daniel. She had secretly admired him from afar for years. So when he walked to her and started talking to her, she was overjoyed. Bit by bit, she started drifting away from Caleb. She stopped sitting with him during lectures. She stopped replying to his text on time. To her, it felt like a fairy tale. The most handsome and popular boy in the department was talking to her, even showing signs he liked her. But she didn't know Daniel had other plans. He wasn't interested in her heart, he was only interested in her brain. Daniel's grade was collapsing and he needed someone to save him. So he started using Christabel, asking her to do his assignments, help him with tests, and even rewrite his projects. Just because she was in love, she did everything for Daniel. Daniel's grade shot up in no time, but Christabel began to notice something strange. Daniel was always careful to avoid being seen with her in public. He would walk away when people came around. He never held her hand, never called her his girlfriend, never took her anywhere. She was hot. Maybe he's shy, she thought. One day, she gathered the courage to ask, Daniel, can we go on a date? Just us. Daniel hesitated, then said coldly, Fine. Meet me at FE, 7 p.m. That evening, Christabel was a bundle of excitement. She asked him what she should wear. He just replied, Wear anything, it doesn't matter. That was the happiest day of her life. She could not wait to get home and prepare for the date. She rushed home, wore her best dress, brushed her hair, and put on a touch of makeup for the first time. She arrived at the restaurant early and sat, waiting like a girl in a dream. 7 passed, no Daniel. 7:30 passed, no Daniel. 8 p.m. passed, no Daniel. The waiter walked up to her and asked if she was ready to order. She smiled nervously and said, I'm waiting for someone. He will be here soon. She kept looking at the door, her heart fluttering with hope. Then just as she was about to give up, the door opened. Daniel walked in, but not alone. He walked in with Kemi on his arm, and his friends trailing behind him, laughing. Christabel froze. As they sat at a table nearby, one of Daniel's friends asked, How did you get rid of that weird girl that was disturbing you? Daniel laughed and said, I just stopped replying to her texts. She won't have the guts to show up. The words dabbed through Christabel like knives. She stood up, trembling, and walked over to the table. Daniel, why? Why didn't you reply me? Why make me wait? She whispered. His friends burst into laughter. Wait, is this the girl? One of them mocked. They asked, Did you miss the mirror on your way out of the house? You actually thought he would date someone like you. Look at yourself. Daniel sat there silent. He didn't defend her. He just let them mock her until she couldn't take it anymore. Christabel ran out of the restaurant in tears. Her heart shattered into pieces. The semester ended. The school went on break. No one ever saw Christabel again. When classes resumed, weeks passed and she didn't show up. People forgot about her. Even Daniel had moved on to new girls, bragging out to his friends about being the most sought-after guys on campus. Then one bright morning, as they were laughing in class, the door opened and a stunning young woman walked in. Every head turned. Every mouth went silent. It was Christabel. But not the Christabel they knew. Her hair shone in the light. Her skin glowed. She wore a fitted dress that hugged her new figure and walked with the kind of quiet confidence that made people stare in her. Even Daniel's jaw dropped. He couldn't believe this was the same girl he once mocked. He quickly walked up to her and smiled. You looked amazing. Where have you been? He asked. We all missed you, he added. Christabel replied and said, Daniel, after you and your friend insulted me that day, I knew I had to stop living this way. Something has to change. So I went incognito and focused only on getting better. And here I am, she said. Well, Daniel said, you could have at least left us a message so we won't be worried about you. Christabel was surprised with Daniel's concern for her. But before she could utter another word, Daniel cut in. Are you free tomorrow? He asked. Let me take you out. Christabel smiled softly and asked, what about Kemi? He laughed and lied. We broke up. I don't even care about Kemi anymore. It is you I want. Christabel tilted her head gently. Okay, Effie, 7 p.m. Daniel's friend clapped and called him the luckiest man alive. That night, Daniel dressed in his best and waited at Effie. He waited 1 hour, 2 hours, but she never came. Just as he was about leaving, he heard people screaming at the other end of the restaurant. Say yes, say yes, say yes. He turned around and froze. What he saw made his blood run cold. In the middle of the crowd was Christabel, looking very beautiful. And kneeling in front of her, holding a ring, was Caleb. Christabel smiled through tears and said, oh, yes. The crowd erupted in cheers. Yay! Christabel turned and saw Daniel standing there, stunned. She smiled at him kindly, the same way he once smiled at her when she was invincible. Throughout the night, Daniel could not sleep. He has never been embarrassed and rejected like that before in his life. He kept turning and rolling on the bed, but he was too worried to fall asleep. The next day after class, Daniel cornered her. Why did you do that to me? He said quietly. Christabel looked at him calmly. Caleb loved me when I was invincible, she said. You only wanted me when I became beautiful. For 4 years, I grieved my mother's death and Caleb stood by me. After you and your friend humiliated me, I decided it was time to heal and live again. And Caleb helped me to do that. So yes, I said yes to the best man. Daniel stood there speechless, his pride crumbling like dust. It turned out Christabel was the daughter of a wealthy business tycoon. After graduation, she married Caleb and they lived happily ever after. As for Daniel, he was left with nothing but regrets and the memory of the girl he once mocked. Did you enjoy this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comment box below. See you in the next video.